brother? Mainstream media? Government cover-ups? You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen. Into the third hour. This is a short 5-minute segment, 18-minute segment coming up, then a 6-minute segment. We're going to your calls right now for Dr. Nick Begich. You guys all have questions and comments. He can comment on them. Jim in Maryland, you want to talk about the fact they're trying to get rid of our borders and then use the groups, I guess, as a political voting bloc. Well, I want to get Begich's take on that. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, hey, I just want to say something, Alex. This country, you're done. The thing I don't understand is I grew up in this country, and you couldn't go to Japan and become Japanese. You couldn't go to China and be Chinese. But you could come to this country and become an American. And all these people, I'll go back to what C.L. Bryant said about, give somebody their comfort. They don't want freedom. They want their comfort. And they're taking all these things from us, not letting Alaska use the resources there or the oils or whatever in this country. Why are we not back harder on these people?
Dr. Begich?
Yeah, this idea of no borders. The fact is the cultures of the world are too different to erase borders. We got a couple hundred years to go before people are really on the same page. I just don't see that as a practical solution to anything. In fact, it's easy for someone to come in comparably into the United States. Go look into what it takes to give up your U.S. citizenship, if you ever wanted to do it. You can't without the government's permission.
And now they're saying they'll still take your after-tax money even if you do. They're kind of saying you can't.
Oh, yeah, they'll take 20% on your way out the door in capital gains of everything you own. They will not let you leave for tax reasons, only for political reasons. And that way they can deny you entry in the future for those very political reasons that might cause you to rethink your citizenship. The fact is, it's not, the U.S. owns us in that sense. We're not. No,
that's what I was saying in the last hour, is that I don't even, our family ranch, we don't really own that.
No. I have some property outside of tax jurisdictions here in Alaska. In fact, outside of our organized boroughs. So it's property I really own, because I'm not taxed on it every year.
Wow, that's so rare.
It is so rare, and Alaska is one of the few places where there are still unorganized regions of the state where you can actually achieve that. And otherwise you're really just on the lifetime payment plan, because when you're done paying the bank, you're still paying the government for land that you're theoretically owned.
And then they can raise the property tax where you can't pay it. It's so sick. Caller, great points. Thanks for holding. Carrie in Indiana, you're on the air. Go ahead. Thank you.
Alex.
Hey.
I've been trying to reach you for about a year. I've sent you about 100 emails.
Well, brother, you're on the air right now. This seems to always happen. When somebody says they've been waiting a long time, I automatically know they're not going to talk. Sir, do you have something to say?
I'm here.
Go ahead.
You can look back through the emails, okay? We are all moving right now through a magnetic field and leaving a trail, a traceable trail, and have been for at least the last 1,000 years. I know that sounds wild. It sounds crazy.
No. I mean, you're talking to the guy that can answer that. I had, a big former Bain Capital analyst on. He said sunspots are what control economic cycles because, like the moon, it affects the brain. I'll hold you over so you can finish your comment, caller. So you say you've been waiting for years to get this out, but just say it. You don't have to, people always call up and want to be screened on air, but what do you think about this talk of this magnetic field in the galaxy? Is that true?
You have tremendous impact by these fields that are usually pretty subtle. I mean, the word lunatic comes from the lunar cycle, which was observed, hundreds of years ago, because at the full moon, people recognized there was a change in behaviors. When you look at the sunspot cycle, it correlates to the economic cycles, it correlates to wars, it also correlates to major economic swings.
That's what Harry Dent was saying.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I mean, you can look historically at the record and you can make the correlations. They're really easy to make. The same thing is true when you look at global warming. It's actually, if you look at the sunspot cycle, it parallels...
Stay there, sir. I'm going to come back. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water. For your preparedness storage or your home kitchen, purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com. In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime Directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
I don't know what he is except a conspiracy theorist.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at InfoWars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun and you can feel it.
Listening to an InfoWars.com frontline report. It's Alex Jones.
Okay, if you just joined us, we're taking calls, wild card calls, just on different issues from Sue and Chad and Chris and Carrie, and that's it for the calls. We're Dr. Nick Begich. We're going to talk about some more solutions, a really important solution that's verifiable to absolutely make the United States, but also the rest of the world, incredibly wealthy. So that's coming up, dealing with energy in just a few minutes after these calls with Dr. Nick Begich, a scientist, best-selling author, one of the main land experts up in Alaska, and consults with native tribes all over the United States. His brother, obviously a U.S. senator, his dad, a famous congressman, who got a lot of reforms in for Native Americans in Alaska, but also in other areas. And he joins us right now. But the caller said, Alex, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a year. If people just joined us, I'm recapping it. It's the magnetic waves we're going through in space the last 1,000 years. It's different. And he didn't finish his point. He just kept pausing. And I said, no, we had Harry Dent on, top analyst, saying that sunspot cycles with wars, economy, we're going out of one of the peaks right now. It's supposed to bring us down. We got the chart on screen for TV viewers. And Begich is like, well, of course that's a big part of it. This is known by police departments, the lunar cycle. It's just known by hospitals. It's a reality. Because, the moon changes the tides, changes hormones, really affects women more in some studies I've seen. So finishing up with that, caller, what is your point, though, or a specific question for Begich, because he's a perfect guest to have on with the question. What specifically are you talking about? An ion field? What are you getting at, sir?
Okay. In short, we are all moving through a magnetic field on an atom-by-atom basis. It's not wrapping around the Earth. We're moving through it point by point, atom by atom. And we have been for 1,000 years. And with the right software and the right equipment, you can go back and you can see what really happened and hear what really happened. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm writing you. That's why I definitely didn't want to talk to you online. I'm scared to death, but I'm telling you that. And
I mean, what are you, an you some type of electrical engineer or physicist? Because that's the argument, is that you can hear echoes of everything throughout time and space, and read energy fields like electric, currents that have already passed through, or radio telescopes. I mean, are you specifically working, say, for DARPA in research of this? Because I know they're looking at that. Or are you theoretically coming up with this in your mind, and it's so exciting that you're freaking out?
No, it explains everything. It explains
I asked you, sir, are you a scientist specifically that has equations or tests showing what you're saying? Oh, well, send me some information. I appreciate your call. Dr. Nick Begich, that's an interesting topic he brought up. And so bring it up, to speed with what you know.
Well, this whole idea of being able to go back and read energy fields, I think that is an area that's certainly expanding in research and people's interest. Think about how information is transmitted through wireless and reconfigured in television sets, as an example. The idea of capturing that information long after it's passed. Yeah, absolutely. I would disagree with the caller in this sense. It's not 1,000 years, it's for eternity. We are in an electromagnetic soup produced by all kinds of natural and now man-made phenomena. Radio frequency energy alone is 200 million times more now in the last 100 years because of what man's introduced on the planet Earth versus what nature normally was making available to us. But the difference between nature and man is man can create the situation where they can direct and control that information, which gets back to that earlier subject of manipulating the human brain and human mind and human emotions. This is where the science is going, and this is a very dangerous area.
Exactly. If sunspots control wars and irrational exuberance and everything and increase them, then imagine what artificial systems are doing.
Oh, yeah. And this idea of the cell phone towers or any other electromagnetic system being used is extremely well known. We've been reporting on it since the first major articles, the one, The Mind Has No Firewalls, 1998, Perimeters, U.S. Army War College. Great document. Everything in it is proving itself out. It's taken from an earlier Russian report. I know one of the best, in fact, the top biophysicist in Russia, Alex Kavarinin, and his ideas on this perfectly correlate with what the caller is suggesting, in the sense that we can manipulate human beings through electromagnetic fields.
We just lost his Skype.
Atoms, molecules, and eventually body.
All right, your Skype came back in. And again, none of this technology is bad in of itself, but it's that the technocrats are clearly anti-human. When I look at federalization, globalization of curriculum, and they literally teach 2 + 2 = 5, that is an attempt to really screw kids up and to make them dysfunctional. And for me, that's really a real benchmark. It shows that the ruling elite are really bad people. And there's a mix of good people in the system as well, but the higher up you get, the more psychopathic, kleptocratic, disconnected from humanity they are. Do you disagree with that statement?
I agree 100%. I mean, the thing is we don't need to teach kids what to think. We need to teach them how to think. Math, reading, basic skills, and then give them the tools to use their mind independent of the propaganda being packed in it in organized curriculum from around the country.
Exactly. I look at textbooks now. They are designed to not work and screw people up. And then it turns out we have the documents that that's on purpose. What type of elite wants to screw people up?
People who want factory work and slaves. People who want people to lay down in the street.